My ex messaged me, "I'm pregnant, it's yours." I almost replied, but something in me said don't. Months later, the truth about her baby proved why walking away was the best thing I ever did. I, 29M, had always believed that some chapters in life end quietly, without any final words, without any grand goodbyes. Just the gentle realization that what once felt infinite had slowly faded into silence. I thought that was what happened between me and Emily, 27F. We had been together for almost 3 years, the kind of relationship that began with laughter, shared playlists, and late-night conversations that made time feel like it was pausing just for us. But somewhere along the way, the warmth turned into arguments, the comfort into distance, and the conversations became fights that never truly ended. When she finally walked out of my apartment 6 months ago, it wasn't explosive, it was exhausting. She packed a small bag, looked at me with eyes that had already moved on, and said, "You'll regret not fighting for me." I remember just standing there, saying nothing, because I was too tired to keep fighting for a version of us that didn't exist anymore. For months, I tried to heal. I focused on work, on the gym, on friends who told me I'd done the right thing. I started sleeping better, eating better, even found myself smiling at random things again. Life wasn't perfect, but it was peaceful, until that one Thursday night. I was in my kitchen, the soft glow of the stove light reflecting off the countertops, my playlist playing songs from the old days. I was rinsing a plate, letting the warm water steam around my fingers, when my phone buzzed on the counter. One notification, one name I hadn't seen since she left. Emily. For a moment, my heart stopped. My first thought was that maybe she wanted closure, maybe an apology, maybe something to reignite what once was. I picked up the phone, and right there on the screen, in plain letters, were 4 words that made my hands go cold.
I'm pregnant.
It's yours. I stood there, frozen, the water still running, the plate halfway washed. My mind started spinning so fast it was hard to breathe. 6 months. It had been 6 whole months since she left. The timing didn't add up, but the message was so direct, so certain, that a small, dangerous part of me wondered, what if? I leaned against the counter, trying to catch my breath, staring at the words again and again, hoping I was reading them wrong. But there they were, clear as day. I thought about every conversation we ever had, every fight, every tear, every word she'd ever said about wanting a family someday. And now, out of nowhere, she was saying it was mine. I didn't reply, not immediately. I just turned off the water, dried my hands, and walked into the living room like a ghost. The air felt heavy. My thoughts were all over the place. Confusion, anger, fear. Part of me wanted to call her instantly to demand answers. Another part of me knew that if I opened that door again, I might never close it. I remembered the pain, the manipulation, the endless emotional chaos. And deep down, I knew she knew exactly what she was doing. Still, I couldn't shake the thought. What if she's telling the truth? What if there was a child, my child, somewhere I didn't know about? The weight of that possibility was crushing. I sat on the couch, phone in hand, staring at her message for almost an hour before I finally sent a text to my best friend, Ryan. "Hey man," I wrote. "Emily just texted me saying she's pregnant." He replied almost instantly. "Wait, what? After 6 months? Dude, don't even go there. She's messing with you." "I don't know," I typed. "What if it's true?" He called me right away. His voice was calm, but firm. "Listen, bro. You told me she was with that new guy, right? The one from work, Chase." "Yeah." "Then what are you doing even thinking about this? If it was yours, she wouldn't wait half a year to say something. She's trying to pull you back in. Don't fall for it." He was right. Deep down, I knew he was. But knowing something and believing it are 2 different things. I hung up, stared at my phone, and typed out a message to her. When did this happen? But before I could hit send, I just stopped. I could almost hear her voice in my head, twisting words, turning guilt into control. I deleted the text, locked my phone, and just sat there. The next morning, the message was still there. I told myself I'd ignore it. I went about my day like nothing happened, but it sat in the back of my mind, whispering doubt. Around noon, another message came. You have no idea what you're doing. You're going to regret this. That was it.
No explanation, no clarity.
Just guilt. The same old pattern. And that's when I finally felt something snap inside me. Not anger, not pain, but resolve. I blocked her, right then and there. No second thoughts. The silence that followed was heavy, but it was also strangely peaceful. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I had drawn a line she couldn't cross. But that night, as I lay in bed, the questions kept spinning. What if she was telling the truth? What if I just walked away from something real? I tried to sleep, but my mind wouldn't let me. Every memory of her flooded back. The way she laughed when I made coffee wrong. The way she'd steal my hoodie. The way she'd cry after every fight and promise to do better. I hated that those memories still had power over me. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, the noise in my head faded. I focused on work, met friends again, started jogging in the mornings. I thought I was finally free. Then one afternoon, Ryan walked into my office, his expression unreadable. He held out his phone. You need to see this. On the screen was a picture of Emily. She was smiling brightly, one hand resting on her pregnant belly. The caption said, "Can't wait to meet you, baby boy." And right there in the comments was Chase. Our little family. I just stared at the screen. A rush of relief washed over me so strong it almost made me laugh. It wasn't mine. It never was. I had done the right thing. I had saved myself from a lifetime of chaos and lies. But still, beneath the relief, there was a strange ache. Why had she texted me then? Why pretend? That question haunted me for weeks. It was nearly a month later when I finally stopped thinking about it. Or at least I thought I had. One evening, I got a message request from someone I didn't expect. Megan 25F, Emily's younger sister. Her message was short, but it made my chest tighten all over again. Hey, I know you and Emily haven't talked, but there's something you should know. I stared at the screen for a while, unsure if I wanted to step back into that world. But curiosity and maybe guilt won. What's going on? I replied. We agreed to meet the next day at a small cafe downtown. When she walked in, I barely recognized her. She looked tired, not just physically, but like someone carrying too much weight on her shoulders. She sat across from me, her fingers fidgeting with the rim of her coffee cup. She didn't want me to tell you this, she said quietly, but I think you deserve to know what really happened. I leaned back, trying to stay calm. Go on. That message she sent you, the one about the baby, it wasn't a lie. Well, not entirely. She really thought it might be yours. The words hit harder than I expected. She thought it might be? Megan nodded slowly. When she left you, things moved fast with Chase. Too fast. The timing was close, and when she found out she was pregnant, she panicked. She didn't know who the father was. She tried to tell you the truth, but when you blocked her, she lost her chance. I sat there in silence, the sound of coffee cups and quiet conversations around us fading into nothing. Megan continued. When Chase found out she'd messaged you, he lost it. He accused her of cheating, threw her out, said the baby might not be his. She's been staying with me ever since. I didn't know what to say. A mix of relief, guilt, and sadness swirled inside me. So, the baby's his. Yeah, Megan said softly. They did a test. It's his, but it broke her anyway. She keeps saying if you'd replied, maybe things would have been different. I stared down at my cup, the steam rising slowly like the thoughts I couldn't put into words. Part of me wanted to feel angry, to defend my choice. Another part of me just felt empty. I don't know if a reply would have changed anything, I finally said. We were already broken. I just wanted to save what was left of myself. Megan nodded, her eyes kind. I get that, but she still talks about you sometimes. She says you were the only one who ever really tried to understand her. After she left, I sat there alone for a long time. I thought about the kind of love that burns bright and fast. The kind that teaches you everything and breaks you just as deeply. I realized I hadn't blocked her to be cruel. I had done it because I knew that if I answered, I would have been dragged back into a life that would have destroyed us both. A few months later, fate decided to play its cruel little game. I saw her again in a grocery store of all places. She was standing by the baby aisle, rocking a small stroller, her hair pulled back, her eyes tired but softer than I remembered. When she saw me, her lips trembled into a small smile. "I didn't think I'd see you again," she said. "Neither did I," I replied. We talked for a minute, small words, heavy meaning. She told me the baby's name, said he was doing great. Then her voice dropped a little. "I owe you an apology," she said. "I was scared, confused, and I didn't know what to do. You were right to block me. But I hope you know I never meant to hurt you." I just nodded. "I know." Before she left, she looked at me one last time and said something that stuck with me forever. "You were always the one who cared. Don't let what happened make you cold." I watched her walk away, the small child in the stroller giggling as she pushed him out the door. And in that moment, I realized something profound. Sometimes, love doesn't end because people stop caring. Sometimes, it ends because caring alone isn't enough to save you. Weeks later, I met someone new. Someone who didn't play games, who didn't use love as a weapon, who made peace feel normal again. When I told her about Emily, she listened quietly and said, "Sometimes doing nothing is the hardest thing you'll ever have to do." And she was right, because sometimes silence isn't cowardice. Sometimes it's survival. And that night I blocked her. The night I chose silence. I didn't just save myself. I might have saved her too. Like, subscribe, and share if you believe that sometimes the hardest goodbyes are the ones that save us.